Hi everyone, this is Alexis Percival and I'm back with the Vinquisition. I'm finally ready to open Pandora's wine bottle and start a series of videos about natural wine. So this is just my introduction to let you know what to expect from the coming videos and the topics that I'm going to cover, especially in case there's something that you think I've forgotten or left out, so you can have an expectation for it. The term natural wine is enough to make your noggin explode because it doesn't actually mean anything, or more specifically, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. There are certifying bodies, there are natural wine movements, and all of these people and organizations organize what their rules are for natural wine. Okay, so that can be so confusing, and as a consumer or a buyer of wine at a restaurant, it can be really difficult to tease out all of these nuances and understand what is going on and what is going to end up in your glass. I think even as a great example, I had a woman the other day come into a wine shop and say, "Are any of the wines organic? I just find that I feel better after I'm drinking organic wine." And I didn't have the heart to tell her how complex of a question that actually is. And organics should be really straightforward, and yet with wine, they're not. So we're going to talk about that and so many more things, including I'm going to cover the dreaded added sulfur question. I'm going to talk about, as I said, organics and biodynamics. I'm going to talk about the raw wine movement, legal additives in wine, depending on what country you live in, terms like glue, fining, filtration, native yeast fermentation, volatile acidity, mouse taint, what the heck is a vegan label on a wine? Now, all of these things are not specific to just the natural wine movement, so I think we'll touch into a lot of different categories in wine. But the reason I want to tackle this is because in New York City, I've been here for it. I remember the first quote-unquote natural wines that I had back in the day. This is not a new thing. Winemakers have been making natural wines as they have self-defined it to be for a long time. But as a movement or a way for us to say, I want natural wines, I'm seeking out natural wines, when that started to happen in New York City, where we had wine bars like that say I'm a natural wine bar. For example, back in the day when we opened Ruffian 8 years ago, Ruffian we were not calling Ruffian a natural wine bar. As we were selecting wines and they happened to be natural wines somewhere along that spectrum, we were like, oh wow, we have an affinity for these wines. Not only are they coming from smaller producers, generally more ethic and eco-conscious, we liked all of those things, and at the end of the day, they were good wines. Now, were there missteps along the way as we've figured out what that means? Yeah, I think all of us went through a period of like, wow, these flavors are new and exciting, and I don't know what I'm tasting. I'm not even sure if I like it. So yeah, there were definitely wines that I drank back in the day that I know I would not enjoy now. But it was a process to go through and figure out what this means and how do we go forward from this point forward, now that the term natural wine is part of the wine landscape. I'm also going to talk about what natural wine isn't or should not be associated with as a rule. So as you can tell, I'm getting excited. There's a ton to talk about, so that's why I'm going to break it up into parts, but here we go, and I'll see you next time on the Vinquisition.